Now to KwaZulu-Natal, where children's homes are accusing government of neglect. The Child Welfare and Family Society of Pietermaritzburg say the Social Development Department and the National Lotteries Fund owe them about R1.5 million. Now, this is a province, of course, that has faced many challenges, including last year's devastating floods. Our reporter, Lethiwe Mdluli, following the story, joining us now from our Durban studio. So, Lethiwe, just give us a bit of context here. How many children's homes have been impacted by this non-payment? How far back is it going?
Well, Sally, at least 140 children's homes have been affected by this non-payment from the Department of Social Development. And unfortunately, this has been going on for the past 2 months. And some of these homes have had to close their offices, which means that they haven't been offering assistance to the people that need help. And I spoke to some of the children's homes a bit earlier on when we went to Pietermaritzburg, and they are saying that this is now a crisis. This issue has been persisting for the past 3 months, but they've been talking to the Department of Social Development to try and get payments from them for the past 10 years. I spoke to Julie Todd, who is the CEO for Child Welfare in Pietermaritzburg. She has been saying that, unfortunately, DSD here in the province pays them in areas, which means that they always receive late payments, which is not good for their service providers, for the children that they cater for, and also for the social workers that are assisting these children. As we know right now, a lot of social workers have not been paid their December and January salaries. We went to the Ekujabuleni Children's Home a bit earlier on, where I spoke to social workers and just basically finding out how they are able to come to work after not receiving a salary for the past 2 months. And they were saying that they're struggling. They've even had to borrow money so that they can have transport money to come to work. And it's quite difficult to help those children when you don't have a salary. I also spoke to the chairperson of the Ekujabuleni Children's Home, who did share that they did not receive any communication from the Department of Social Development about their subsidies not being paid for January. And he is saying that it was quite a surprise. They had to inform their workers that they won't be getting their salaries in January. And it was quite an impossible task, because these people provide an essential service. And of course, this is also trickling down now to the children that are being assisted. The chairperson for the Ekujabuleni Children's Home did say that they're struggling to even put food on the table because they don't have the money, they don't have the funds to do so. I spoke to Julie Todd, and this is what she had to say about this crisis.
This is not a new problem. It has happened before, and unfortunately it has happened now twice in 3 months, where the subsidy has been paid on the very last day of the month or late. As you correctly said, some people have not yet received their subsidy for the month of December. This is because the Department of Social Development in KZN pays the subsidies in arrears. And so it's December money that people are still waiting for, and is negatively impacting on their services, negatively impacting on their staff. So for my own organisation, we did, fortunately, I can say that we did eventually receive our funds on the 31st of January. But when that comes into account, we still have to process it for payroll, and so staff only get paid then in the new month. This is the second time it happened this December as well. And as you know, that people have debit orders, stop orders and things like that come off, and it puts them in a very difficult position when their salary is not coming through. So we rely on it coming through earlier so we can make a timeliest payment to staff. It also impacts on the organisation that we're not able to pay bills. When we're living in a very tough economic times. With COVID, we had less opportunity to do fundraising. In the children's sector particularly, we do statutory services, which is a function of the state. We do it on the state's behalf. So the state, according to Section 105 of the Children's Act, should be funding those services, but only subsidise. So we have to find the additional funds, and funders do not want to fund what they see as being a government's responsibility.
And as she says, it's not a new problem. The department does pay in arrears, but now they also seem to be paying late. What is the Department of Social Development's response and solution to this problem?
Well, unfortunately, the department did not provide a solution. Unfortunately, they are saying that they won't be able to pay NGOs in advance because the NGOs have to actually provide a service, and then they will be able to pay them. In terms of why this happened, the HOD for Social Development here in KZN, Lethiwe Mdluli, did say that there was a glitch in their system, and unfortunately this is why the NGOs have not been paid. But in terms of solutions as to how this is going to be fixed, where NGOs will receive those subsidies, those much needed subsidies on time, she did say that they've been working and talking to the NGOs, but unfortunately this system is here to stay, because Julie Todd actually did say that for other provinces, other systems are used, different systems than KZN, and it seems to be working for them. So they were trying to address this issue with DSD here in the province, where they can copy the systems that maybe Gauteng uses, and they did say that they're not going to be using that system for now. They're going to be sticking to what they know, which means that NGOs will be receiving these subsidies late, and it doesn't seem like it's going to end anytime soon. And Julie Todd actually did say that it's been an ongoing process for the past 10 years. While speaking to us, though, she did promise that these NGOs will be receiving their subsidies by tomorrow, and they did make a promise that this is the last time that this kind of problem actually, or this late payment issue, does not persist. I spoke to the HOD a bit earlier on, and this is what she had to say.
We did not pay them in December and January. There was a technical glitch on our side on the system, but we did communicate with them in writing that there is a problem that we're trying to sort out. As a result, some were paid, and all of them will be paid tomorrow, which is the 8th of February 2023. And we have communicated with them as well to say the problem has been resolved and they will all receive their subsidies. That includes the non-profit organizations that we are in contract with, as well as the service providers that have a business with the department. That's why I was saying to you that those who are residential care facilities, who have people housed in their facilities, we have engaged with them to check if they still have enough food, so that we come to their rescue whilst they're waiting for their subsidy. So that has been resolved, and to us it's no longer a crisis because we've resolved the matter. They are getting their subsidies tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, paying late is not acceptable, especially when you're dealing with very vulnerable sectors of the community. And I'm sure you'll keep an eye on that story. If it happens again, despite promises that it won't, you'll be sure to report back to us. Thank you so much, Lethiwe Mdluli, coming to us live there from Durban.